Hello, this is a demo of Cockpit support for the new metadata format of Stratis. Let's get started by creating a pool. And so Stratis only supports the creation of the new metadata format pools. So when we create one, we don't get to select or worry about the version of the metadata. And we make an encrypted pool here because the interesting differences are with encryption. Okay, here's the pool. And the difference now is that the encryption tokens are more flexible, and you can have many passphrases and many key servers or other clever configurations. And Cockpit now supports this by pulling out the encryption tokens into its own card here, and they are presented as a proper table. It's maybe a bit wide here, but I think that's a general problem with Cockpit. And yeah, you have two actions. You can add more passphrases. And any modification of these tokens here needs to unlock the pool and you need to give it a old passphrase in this case. This is explained here. And now we have two passphrases here, one in slot 0, one in slot 1. And they're all equivalent. You don't really need to know in which slot they are. When the pool is started, you only need to give a passphrase that is in any of the slots, and Stratis will find the right slot for it. But if you remove it, you might want to be sure that you remove the right one, of course. So let's add a key server. I've made it easy for myself here. I just put this in. Of course, that will be empty in production. And now we have to provide a passphrase to unlock the tokens. So now we have a key server here in slot 2. And this is a non-interactive way of unlocking the pool. And that means that if we, for example, now add a third passphrase, we can use the key server to unlock the pool to allow modification of tokens. And this is now explained here as well. And if the key server at this address is not reachable, we could provide one of the other two passphrases here, but we don't have to in this case. And we know the key server is reachable, so we can leave this empty and add a new passphrase. This goes to slot 3. So you can remove things, of course, with a little warning dialog. And I think now it's already time to look at some of the edge cases here. For example, if you remove all passphrases and only are left with the key server, then first, of course, you cannot remove the last one. This will be prohibited and the action is disabled. You always need to have at least one token here. And but now if you want to add a passphrase, then these tokens still need to be unlocked to add the new one. But now there's only the key server, so the dialog is careful to explain that this key server now must be reachable. If it's not reachable, you will get an error and you cannot add this anymore. But it is reachable, so let's add the passphrase back. This works. Similar situation, of course, when you remove the key server and you only have a passphrase, this also cannot be removed anymore. I think we can make this explanation a bit shorter, actually, huh? Doesn't need to be so long. Okay, There's another thing you can do with encryption tokens. You can add other Clavis configurations, not just Tang key servers. And Cockpit halfway supports this. Okay, now we would have on the command line. I show you once how you have to do this. First, you have to list the pool. Maybe you appreciate how easy Cockpit makes things. Then you have to find the key description for your slot 1, and then you can set this key description. So now you have to type in the passphrase twice for some reasons. And now Stratis can use this key that you have just set to unlock the pool sufficiently to add the TPM2 Clavis binding. And let's keep the key set, because that's also an interesting edge case. So now you see in slot 0, now we have the Clavis TPM2 thing. Cockpit doesn't know what this is. You can't change it. You can't remove it even. And but it's here, and you might want to know about it. This is also a non-interactive unlocking method. And this can be used also to unlock the pool. We can, for example, add one more passphrase again, or let's add a key server maybe for, I don't know. So now it says, this is interesting, huh? This is difficult to explain. At least one of the non-interactive unlock methods must work, but there's a passphrase here, so you should maybe expect that you can input the passphrase here to unlock this. But that is no longer possible from Cockpit's point of view, because the key is already set in the keyring. We have done this here in the terminal, somewhere here. So the key is already set, and Cockpit now is not going to override it. Because it could never put it back. So maybe it is there on purpose. So now Cockpit does not treats it as a non-interactive unlocking method. So it might work, this key in the keyring. We know it will work because it's the correct one. But it might also not work. But there's nothing else no other passphrase that is not already in the keyring that Cockpit could now ask for here. But we know it will work. We also have the Clavis TPM2 thing here. This will also work, so we can now add this here. Would be nice maybe, if this is an important case, to explain that this passphrase is now not usable from Cockpit, because the key description is already occupied. And it's complicated. So maybe the way to end up in this situation has to go via the terminal, so I hope people will know what they're doing. On the other hand, having a key set might be a mistake, and it might be nice maybe if Cockpit could point that out and allow people to override it anyway. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Version 1 pools are also still a thing. You cannot create them anymore, but of course you might have old ones with data on it and you can't just migrate them. There's no way to change the format in place for a pool. So you might have version 1 pools, and they look like this now. They also have a card for the encryption tokens, but because it's not a list really of tokens, but only you can have a passphrase or not, and you can have a key server on it. So this is explained here in this little info bubble. We can put as much text here as we want. And you can see here that's a version 1 pool. And this is basically the old UI. You can add a key server. You have to put in the passphrase. That's pretty similar. And then you have the key server here. Then you can remove it again, or now you can remove the passphrase. and add the passphrase back. The dialogues are the same, so you get the same explanations here now. And we can also you can also show the cleverest things here if you have them. I don't think I need to demonstrate this. So, okay. Version 2 pools get a list, a table, just like the many other tables that we have in Cockpit for the tokens. And version 1 pools, they now have the description list here that they used to have. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks.